Channel 2, New York.
Rick Barry of the Golden State Warriors off to a sensational start in the playoffs to top off his best season ever. Keith Wilkes of the Warriors, the choice of many as the NBA's Rookie of the Year. "7'2" Tom Burleson of Seattle, one of 6 rookies who have sparkled in the Sonics' first playoff appearance ever. And Captain Spencer Haywood of the Sonics, all key ingredients of today's Western Conference playoff game between Seattle and Golden State.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Welcome to the Seattle Coliseum for this afternoon's 4th game in the NBA Western Conference semifinal series between Golden State and Seattle. I'm Frank Lieber. Along with me, former UCLA star Lynn Shackelford. And right now, it's Golden State that's got the home court advantage.
Very definitely, because should the Seattle Sonics lose this game, they would go back to game number 5 in Oakland Tuesday night, down 3-1, and it would just about assure a Golden State win, I think, in the playoffs should they win here this afternoon.
If things get as rough as they were in the game between these two clubs Thursday night here in Seattle, we could be in for a very tough afternoon.
Players get tired of looking at one another because you play the long series against each other night after night. You get tired of feeling the same elbows in the same parts of the body. It's what they call an emotional carryover. Yes, it's getting rough between the two teams.
The last 2 games of this series have been won by visiting teams, and that just isn't supposed to happen in the NBA, is it, Len?
No, it's not, but I think although, unlike some playoff series, this one, the home court advantage will not be too significant, although these Seattle fans here are going to get wild this afternoon.
This is a must game for the Seattle Supersonics. They need it or they fall behind 3-1, and Bill Russell and his team will be pulling out all the stops.
Who wants to be treated like just another beautiful body? I got a brain. So Bev, get a new Hager top. It mixes and matches with... Connie, Hager slacks to give me a variety of ways to express my individuality. For less than $45, I'm more than a beautiful body. I'm a sex object.
Hager slacks of Easy Care Celanese Fortrel polyester, and now Hager tops, $25 and under. So who says the cost of looking good is going up?
Thanks, Hager.
Oh.
In the tradition of the world's most famous motorcycle, Harley-Davidson, 2 more expressions of engineering excellence, designed for the man who won't settle for less. The Harley-Davidson SX175 and SX250 on-off-road machines. Take your choice, the SX175, the SX250, for the rider who demands the best, the Harley-Davidson man. See the yellow pages for your AMF Harley-Davidson dealer.
When you talk about key players to watch in this game, I guess you have to start with Rick Barry. He has perhaps become the best all-around basketball player in the NBA this year. Had a sensational regular season, and he hasn't slowed down in the playoffs.
He averaged 30.5 points during the regular season. He's averaging 33 now in the playoffs, and he is certainly the man that they build their entire offense around. They want to try to work the ball until they can get it to Rick Barry, and of course he's quite capable of scoring. He's had in the 3 games 39, 29, and 33. If Clifford Ray can set a screen and get him open for a jump shot from a good place on the floor, it's almost an automatic 2 points for Rick.
Barry can do so many things with or without the basketball. He draws a lot of double teaming, but he's very adept at dumping the ball off to the open man.
One of the fine passing forwards. He's very smart that when he is double teamed, he not only can score, but he has the ability to pass off, as he does here to Phil Smith, the Golden State Warrior guard, for an easy 12-footer.
Tom Burleson and Spencer Haywood, the big names for Seattle, and Burleson has really come on like gangbusters here in the last month.
Tommy averaged only 10 points a game during the regular season, but he now is playing most of the time at center. He's so very tall, he has a great height advantage over Clifford Ray. He's averaging 20 points a game in the playoffs in the 3 games so far.
The Golden State does a lot of double teaming, don't they, Lynn?
Much more even than the Seattle Sonics. Rick Barry double-teamed here, and of course he was guarding Spencer Haywood. That left Haywood open underneath, and if you give Haywood or Burleson a shot underneath, they're going to dunk it.
What about the experience factor? Now, Russell's got a young team. He's got 6 rookies. He's got only 1 man, Archie Clark, who's really had any playoff experience at all. Could this be the key factor in the series?
Right. Of their 12-man roster, 6 of them are rookies. That's unusual just for them to get into the playoffs. And 2 of those rookies, Burleson and Leonard Gray are starters. Yes, I think it hurts them. For instance, they lost the game here Thursday night because Bill Russell said they were trying too hard. That is indicative of youthfulness.
The rebounding statistics in the league show that Golden State is the second best rebounding team in the NBA over the regular season, and Seattle, on the other hand, is the third worst. Now, they've got a guy in there that's at 7'2", and you wouldn't expect this to happen.
No, you sure wouldn't. You've got Tom Burleson at 7'2". Spencer Haywood, of course, is a fine rebounder, and Leonard Gray is a pretty big man, too, weighing in at about 240 pounds. But the old story in basketball is sometimes quickness can overcome height or strength. And the Golden State Warriors, although you would not regard Keith Wilkes and Rick Barry as great rebounding forwards, Clifford Ray and those other two forwards, they do an outstanding job of rebounding. They do a fine job. Of course, they put the ball up a lot, too. They put it up more than anyone else in the NBA during the regular season, and for that reason, they get a lot of rebounds.
They like to run and gun, and Seattle, if it's going to have a chance, I guess is going to have to slow them down and make them play their style of play.
Very definitely. In fact, during the regular season, when Golden State won 4 of the 7 encounters, they won some of the games rather easily, as they did in the first playoff game when they led at one time by 30 points with their fast break and their quickness. And for Seattle to stay in the game, they've got to start to control the tempo a little bit themselves.
Warriors are the top offensive team in the NBA, averaging better than 108 points per game. That'll be something to watch. We'll be back with the tip-off in just a moment.
A tiny speck of carbon black. If it were in your eye, you wouldn't know it. But carbon black's unique properties strengthen rubber and add thousands of miles of wear to your car's tires. And who discovered an economical way to make carbon black for today's tires? The same company that makes fine products for your car. The Phillips Petroleum Company. Surprised?
Hey, Plunkett, you've never seen anything like these J-wipes, boy. Car wax right in the cloth. And it's easy.
Sure, they're easy. Will the shine last?
Will the shine last? J-Wipes puts down more wax than the leading paste. It bonds to the finish for a shine that really lasts. You see that?
New J-Wipes from J-Wax. The tough wax shine in a disposable cloth.
NBA playoffs will continue after this word from your local station. Intelligence tests are put to the test and found failing when CBS reports on the IQ myth, Tuesday night on CBS.
Last year, Joel Sartorius went to Venice, as hundreds of thousands of people do each year. But Joel wasn't on a holiday. He went to study the art of Venice. Joel was one of 59 young men and women, graduate students, on ITT International Fellowships. Like Joel, half of them were Americans studying abroad. The others, foreign students in America. What Joel learned on his ITT Fellowship will be a big help someday in the career he's chosen, teaching. The people he met learned something about him, too, and about us Americans. And that really is what these ITT fellowships are all about. Not only teaching people for a career, but teaching people about people.
Channel 2, New York.
Give it all you got, take your very best shot, and may the best team win. The time is now, the name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score, so let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's gonna bounce today. Welcome to NBA. Come on and join the rest of the crowd. There's another classic about to come your way.
NBA playoffs. Sponsored by Ford and your local Ford dealer. The closer you look, the better we look. And by AC Delco, division of General Motors Corporation.
See the best in basketball on CBS. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
The Seattle Supersonics, 19th straight sellout crowd, 14,000 on hand. Here you see the starting lineups in this afternoon's NBA semifinal series playoff game. Charlie Johnson controlling the tip for the Warriors. Barry drives off to Johnson. 2. Johnson at 24 points in the Thursday night game.
That's what we were talking about. Rick Barry, who dribble drives to the basket, and if he has the man, or if they pick up on him, double team him, he'll let the open man, as he did for Johnson, an easy jumper at the free throw line.
At Slick Watts. Archie Clark. Rebounded by Clifford Ray. To Wilkes. Johnson fires from 16. Cleared by Leonard Gray, one of the 2 rookies in the starting lineup. Clark driving on Beard. Haywood on the outside. Into the big guy.
Clifford Ray picks up his first personal foul, and they would like to get Clifford in foul trouble, although George Johnson, Golden State's reserve center, is outstanding also.
Haywood to Burleson from the corner. Golden State leading 2-0 as Ray sweeps him clean. Charlie Johnson. Clark trying to stay with him. Barry from 20. Hung on the lip and wouldn't fall. Watts with that distinctive gold headband. Clark ties it for Seattle at 2.
Archie, of course, is the man I think they're going to have to look to an awful lot because of every one of his 9 NBA seasons. He's been in the playoffs every year.
Ray going up for the shot, and he's held.
11,
It'll go on Glenn Gray, 6'8" rookie from Long Beach State, number 2 draft choice of the Sonics. Ray doesn't score that much, had only 3 free throws for his entire scoring output Thursday night, but can he handle himself under the boards?
To look at him, you think he's a very mean person and aggressive, but he's a very nice, easygoing guy off the floor. He doesn't shoot a great deal, as you say, Frank, but he does know his strengths, and he uses them well out there.
Burleson, no trouble at all clearing the boards. Barry almost coming up with a steal. Rick, the NBA statistical leader in 2 different individual categories. Only man to lead 2 categories. Steals one of them. The other free throw percentage. Clark looking for the open man. Watts had the clear shot. Watts usually comes off the bench. A little bit of a surprise. They started him in place of Fred Brown. Johnson. Wilkes on the rebound. Whistle.
2, 1, reach in, shot. No shot.
Foul will go on Archie Clark.
Keith Wilkes is an outstanding rookie. There he got an offensive rebound, and I think the most pleasant surprise of the number 1 draft pick of the Warriors this year, Wilkes, is that he is a good rebounder. He's averaged 8 during the regular season.
Sonics leading 4-3 in the early going. Here's Barry. Ray. Now, we talked about rebounding being a dominant factor before the game, and thus far in the early going, you see the Warriors controlling both boards. Wilkes shooting over Gray.
Basket by Keith Wilkes.
He's an outstanding player. He likes to shoot that turnaround jump shot, and when he gets in deep, you would think at 6'6" he would have trouble getting it off, but he shoots it from way behind his head, and for that reason, it's difficult to block.
Gray. Archie Clark. Beard out on him. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Traveling.
I think they like the idea of Fred Brown, Frank, coming off the bench. That's one of the reasons why they started Watts. He is a good playmaker, but if they need scoring, you'll see Brown in there in a hurry.
Rick Barry into Ray. Wilkes has the shot.
That basket was possible because Tom Burleson overplayed and gambled out there, and it got beat, but he didn't intercept the pass, and therefore the Golden State had a 2-on-1 advantage, and Wilkes dumped it in.
7-4, Warriors. Haywood. Spencer Haywood gets his first basket of the game. 7-6, Warriors by 1. Beard, one time a Seattle Supersonic himself, back in their leaner days. Ray looking for somebody. Gets it to Charlie Johnson. Nice driving layup by Johnson.
Excellent play underneath by little Charlie. He's listed at only 6 feet. Only one other player, Calvin Murphy, is listed shorter than that in the NBA, and Murphy's listed at 5'9".
Gray on the outside to Watts. Inside to Haywood, and the turnaround jumper. Whistle by Mendy Rudolph. 3 seconds, apparently.
3 seconds. Spencer Haywood wants to get the ball inside and underneath. He's guarded by Keith Wilkes, and that's a difficult assignment for Wilkes because Wilkes is only 6'6", 190, so Haywood has a big height and weight advantage over him of about 35 pounds.
Johnny Johnson, air ball. Burleson comes down with it to Archie Clark. Clark, in his 9 years in the NBA, has never missed the playoffs. That's amazing. And with 4 different teams, jump off, and Russell doesn't like it.
The crowd here is really wild. It's 14,000 plus. They're second in professional basketball in attendance right here in Seattle, behind New York. And they'll get on every call that goes against their team and on every player on the other team.
Beard gets it down to Barry. Warriors lead 9-6. Collision there with Gray. No foul called. Charlie Johnson lost it. Sonics have 2 team fouls. The Warriors 1. 7:45 left to play first period. Archie Clark picked up by Beard. Gray with Barry hanging on him.
That's a play one of the reasons why Rick Barry was able to lead the NBA in steals. He overplays and gambles. That time he got in a little bit too heavy, and he grabbed Leonard Gray on the arm.
Boy, this crowd reacts to Barry, doesn't it? Negative. Watts has it knocked out of his hands, regains it. Archie Clark. Beard is on him. Over Beard. Wilkes comes down with the rebound. He doesn't have the weight, but he comes down with his share of rebounds. Wilkes with the shot, and Ray on the tip-in try. And a whistle and a foul underneath.
21. Hold.
Foul is called on Clark. That's 3 team fouls against Seattle, 2 on the Warriors. Beard to Keith Wilkes. Wilkes cleared the free throw line. 2.
He's going to make that shot. During the regular season, he averaged 14 points a game, and in the playoffs so far, Keith Wilkes in 3 games is averaging 12 a game.
He's got 6 right now. Warriors lead it 11-6. Slim Watts trying to get loose. Oh, ball. Watts on the rebound. Gray. Missed the shot. Burleson with the tip in. No basket. Basket will not count.
Got a foul in here.
Foul, I believe, on Beard.
Got a foul. Which Beard?
Which Beard it is? You heard Mendy Rudolph made the call. And we'll look at it again here, Lynn.
Well, Leonard Gray had a shot there that he normally would make 9 times out of 10. Beard picks up a lot of fouls. He's fouled out 9 times in the 82 games in the regular season. That's his first.
Warriors leading the Sonics 11-6 with 6 minutes and 49 seconds left to play in the first period here at Seattle.
Ford announces a no-nonsense $250 off the sticker price on not just any new car, but America's best-selling newcomer, Ford Granada. In a limited edition you can order now, specially equipped with new exterior trim, a new bench seat and vinyl door trim. Also $250 off on limited edition Granadas with options like air conditioning and power steering. Comes in 3 feature colors in 2- and 4-door models. Quantities are limited, so see your Ford dealer and order fast. Ford means value. Look close and compare.
Now, Irwin Allen, the maker of the Poseidon Adventure, brings you his latest blockbuster, The Towering Inferno. Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, Faye Dunaway, Fred Astaire, Susan Blakely, Richard Chamberlain, Jennifer Jones, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, and Robert Wagner. The Towering Inferno. Rated PG.
Winner of 3 Academy Awards, now at flagship theaters.
Remind you, as you look at Bill Russell talking to his young Sonics, that tomorrow on CBS will bring you another playoff doubleheader featuring the 5th games of 2 first-round series. At 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the doubleheader will begin with Game 5 of the series between Buffalo and Washington. That's tied at 2 games apiece and will be followed at 3:30 by the 5th game of the Western Conference matchup between Chicago and Kansas City, Omaha. That's also tied at 2 games apiece. That's tomorrow, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, here on CBS. Bill Russell, himself a veteran of 165 playoff games. Boy, you know, in those 165 games, he averaged almost 25 rebounds a game. An incredible statistic.
Great performer. He's done an outstanding job. This is his second season here in Seattle as coach and general manager, and he's got them in the playoffs this year, their first time in their history.
He's also got Fred Brown in the lineup for the first time, and that's Brown, number 32, handling the basketball, guarded by Beard. He can get very, very hot. Burleson trying to go up for the shot. The basket counts. Well, I tell you, they talk about Burleson out here. He is now the club's leading scorer here in the playoffs. And Russell talks about his great attitude, that he really wants to play basketball. You ever see a skinny 240-pounder? You're looking at him.
Last year at North Carolina State, where he led the Wolfpack to an NCAA title, he was listed at 7'4". And in my opinion, he looks closer to that than he does at 7'2", which they list him at now.
Warriors by 2 as Beard brings it down. Ray in the high post, guarded by Burleson. Burleson blocked the pass, enabling Gray to make the steal. Fred Brown. Brown has gone 40 points a couple of times this year. In fact, last year he scored 58 points in a game against the Warriors during the regular season. Burleson makes a move over Ray. 5 points for Burleson, and the score is tied at 11.
The game has started kind of slowly, but now it's starting to pick up. They're going into Burleson a little bit more, and of course he's been averaging 20 points a game. They should look for him. And with Fred Brown, they should have a lot more offense, that being Seattle.
Charlie Johnson, rather unheralded member of the Warriors, into Ray. Foul is called on Spencer Haywood, away from the ball. That's 14 fouls against the Sonics, 4 also against the Golden State Warriors. Nice fake by Berry. Not hitting in the early going. Good outlet pass to Brown. Feeding Clark. And Seattle has the lead, 13-11.
We said the Golden State's a team that likes to run, but that was a good fast break by Seattle. They'll take it if they can get it.
Wilkes. Ray on the rebound. By Burleson, and a foul on Burleson, and he went 6 feet in the air. He thought he had all of the ball that time, but Mendy Rudolph said no.
Outstanding offensive rebound by Clifford Ray. One great thing about the improvement of Burleson over the season is in the early part of the season he would get himself in foul trouble a lot. But he has been out of foul trouble in both this series and the series that they won against the Detroit Pistons, and he thought he blocked that one cleanly, but he might have gotten Clifford on the arm.
Warriors down by 2. 5 minutes, 19 seconds left to play first period here at the Seattle Coliseum. Well, they get one more. 3 to make 2 situation. As we're now the penalty, Al Adels looking on. He's not very happy about his free throw shooting. He gets the third one, however, to narrow the margin to 1. That's 2 points for Ray, both on free throws, obviously. Clark off to Brown. Comes back to Brown. Tries it again. Wilkes with the rebound. Good outlet pass to Johnson. One-on-one on Clark. Good touch by Johnson. Played his entire basketball career in the Bay Area. High school, college, and now pro. Warriors have the lead back by 1. 14-13, the big guy. Burleson getting inside on Ray and drops it in.
Pretty agile for a man his side. He's got a variety of shots, and he can put the ball on the floor if he has to for 1 or 2 dribbles, and he did then, and he did it well.
He's got 7 points, 15-14, Sonics. Ray has given away 5 inches to Burleson. He's almost 6'9". Johnson. Burleson with another rebound. He gets it out of there fast to Brown. Brown driving. Whistle and a foul. Beard was riding with him.
He definitely, when he went to the basket, was trying to draw the foul, and Charlie Johnson really had no alternative other than to foul him. Brown is now an outstanding offensive one-on-one player. You get him in a situation like that, he's either going to score or be fouled. Bill Russell's always very calm over there on the bench.
Brown has been very cold from the floor and the free throw line in this series. From the floor particularly, only 35% of his shots. George Johnson has come into the game, spelling Ray at center. That makes it 17-14. Sonics. First 2 points of the game for Fred Brown. Beard. Brown on him. Off to George Johnson. Barry. Traveling call. Well, one of the reasons the Sonics have stayed with him is they've contained Barry very well.
Spencer Haywood, who is guarding Barry, is doing a pretty good job. He's forcing him to pass off. Barry would like to shoot. That's his first choice.
Here's Haywood. Trying to get it inside to Gray.
Rick Barry is guarding Leonard Gray, and as we said earlier, that puts Wilkes on Haywood.
Here's a timeout with 3 minutes and 46 seconds left to play in the first 30, and the Sonics leading the Warriors 17-14, and the capacity crowd here in Seattle loving every minute of it.
Gee, aren't Frenchmen terrific?
Yeah, why can't guys back home dress like that?
So slim, so rich. Oh, he's coming over.
It's easy to be mistaken for a Frenchman in a brigade shirt from Arrow. Slim, trim, very European.
Bonjour, mesdemoiselles. Parlez-vous American?
He's American.
You really think so?
Brigade from Arrow. No wonder American men look so good.
Now comes Miller time. The longest 6 seconds of your life just turned out to be the quickest quarter mile of the day. So head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, if you got the time, we got the beer.
Harry, your wife's car is due for an oil change and a new AC oil filter.
Can't be, Lou. Excuse me, hon. My wife doesn't drive that much.
Harry, even with today's shorter trips and slower speeds, your oil can still get dirty. That's why your owner's manual calls for a change. In terms of mileage or time, whichever comes first. And tell your wife to think months, not just miles.
Hon?
Like Lou said, Harry, think months, not just miles.
And think AC oil filters for quality engine protection.
Ready to go back to work here at the Seattle Coliseum. Sonics will throw it in underneath their offensive hoop. Gray looking for someone to throw it to. Finally gets it into Burleson, and he held it too long. 5 seconds.
Good defense by the Golden State Warriors that time. They were trying to get the ball, obviously, a little lob pass into Burleson underneath. George Johnson, who is taller than Clifford Ray and has longer reach, might be able to better contain Tom Burleson than Ray. George Johnson was sensational coming off the bench Thursday night at 14 rebounds in 17 minutes. He can really vacuum those boards. Beard holding up 3 fingers to indicate the out-of-bounds play. Comes into Rick Barry. Guarded very close by Gray. Gets the pick. Can't hit. Barry is cold. Very cold. He's off to an awful start. Usually he likes to hit his first 2 or 3 shots.
Ball batted away and out of bounds by Charlie Johnson. Sonics to throw it in.
Now, on offense for the Warriors, they can go to other people to score, but as we said, their offense revolves around Barry. They want him to have the ball and be a threat to either score, and of course, then he can pass off.
Brown driving on Beard, gets it back to Burleson from 18 feet. Nice touch by the big guy. 9 points.
I don't think Bill Russell wants him to make a habit of taking that shot, but he is capable of hitting it on occasion.
Barry trying to get inside to Wilkes, driving on Haywood. Wilkes, 2. He's got 8 points.
He's got 8 points. He looks good. At UCLA, they used to call him smooth as silk, and he still looks pretty smooth in the NBA.
He's one of 10 UCLA graduates playing in the NBA. Brown with the missed shot. Barry to Beard. Beard driving. Wilkes over Gray. Gray comes down with it. Clark, 2-on-2 situation, and Archie pops. Tip-in try by Brown is no good, and Wilkes has the next one. Charlie Johnson.
Good little basket by Charlie, the man they call CJ Golden State. I think Golden State's trying to increase the speed of the game now. They're trying to move the ball up the floor a little more rapidly. That's more suited to their style, and it would bother Seattle more.
Johnson has 8 points now. He's the top scorer for Golden State. Gray trying to drive, and
Leonard Gray gets an offensive foul.
Well, Rick got his hand in there pretty good, but they didn't call it.
Yeah, Rick's always trying to make a steal, and Leonard tried to push that hand away. He does not put the ball on the floor and go to the basket real well, Leonard Gray, the fine rookie from Cal State Long Beach, but he is an excellent shooter. He has excellent shot selection as well.
Golden State trying to get loose. Johnson. Gray clears it again. Archie Clark underneath. Tab Skinner, who just came into the game, gets his first bucket. Another of the fine rookies. Boy, you talk about the future. I think Seattle has got some kind of NBA future.
They do too, and right now they look like they've got a future in the playoffs. They're looking good.
They've got 3 rookies in there right now against Golden State. They lead the Warriors by 3. George Johnson. Barry. Got the shot off just in time. Picked off by Wilkes. Hands it back to Beard. Johnson. Can't hit it. Taken away by Charlie Johnson. He's all over the place. However, we get a foul call. Foul will go on Johnson.
It's going to be a backcourt foul. So we'll go to the free throw line. Golden State right now, Frank, is very confused out there. And there's only one man that can straighten that out, in my opinion, for them, and that is Rick Barry. He's going to have to take over the offense for them, get the ball. He's going to have to start making some of those jump shots that he's missed.
Tab Skinner, who came out of Maryland Eastern Shore, that school that went to the NIT and did well last year, has 2 points.
He is a player that Bill Russell really has taken a liking to. He hustles, he works hard, he is not outstanding in one facet of the game, but he is a good all-around player. Good defensive player, especially considering he's a rookie.
54 seconds left to play in the first period here at Seattle. Sonics lead it 21-18. Lead by 4. And Skinner gets the penalty to make it 23-18. Al Adams looking on. Barry, guarded by Skinner. Nice fake. Draws the foul.
With Haywood out of the game, that means that Calvin Skinner has the dubious honor of guarding Rick Barry. He was definitely trying to draw the foul with his fakes, and he finally got Skinner to go into the air. And once he did that, then he went up for the shot, and he knew he was going to get the whistle blown.
You're looking at the best free throw shooter in the history of professional basketball. Rick Barry on his career has averaged almost 89%, just a shade better than Bill Sharman. Of course, he led the league in percentage this year right at 90. 23-20, Sonics by 3. 35 seconds to go. Brown dumps it off to Burleson. Nice block by George Johnson. Beard. To Mullins, who's come into the game.
I think it's a good idea to put Jeff Mullins in. He's a veteran of the Golden State Warriors, and it looks like because they are confused, they need some experience out there. Mullins has been instrumental in the playoffs, although he has had for him a bad regular season.
15 seconds left on the shot clock, 20 seconds in the period. Mullins over to Wilkes.
No. 3, 2, 1.
It's a very close call by referee Paul Mahalik. The foul was on Freddie Brown. Paul Mahalik, of course, is in his 5th NBA season as an official. Brown was trying to keep Keith Wilkes, who is a right-hander but goes very well to his left side, which is indicative, I think, of all outstanding players. They can go well either way.
23-21, Sonics. Wilkes can narrow it to 1. 15 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That's 10 points for Wilkes. He's had an outstanding period. Clark, 8 seconds. George Johnson got his foot into the ball. It'll be the Sonics to throw in with 5 seconds left to play in the period.
Were they running together?
Golden
Golden State, while their offense has not been as good as it usually is, they led the NBA in points, or average points per game, 108 this year. Their defense so far has looked very good.
All right, 5 seconds left in the first period. As the Sonics tab Skinner. Well, no, it's going to be Brown, I guess, to throw it in. Let's see. Now they decide on Skinner. Into Clark. Trying to drive and shoot over Mullins. That's the end of the first period here at the Seattle Coliseum with the Supersonics leading the Golden State Warriors by a score of 23-22.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Most products menus have tough, masculine names. You know what the name of my shampoo is? Johnson's Baby Shampoo. When you wash your hair as often as I do, it doesn't make sense to use a harsh shampoo. I need one that's gentle, like Johnson's. A shampoo for babies has got to be gentle. And Johnson's gets your hair really clean, so it looks fuller.
That's how I like your hair. Full and soft.
Johnson's Baby Shampoo is gentle enough to use every day.
From Johnson & Johnson.
Announcing not just a sale, but a way to get a special price on America's best sellers. A best sellers sale at your Ford dealer. Get a special price on a specially equipped Mustang II, America's best-selling small luxury car. On Maverick, traditionally America's best-selling four-door compact. Or choose Pinto, America's top-selling small economy car. Your Ford dealer has been given a special incentive to give you a good buy on America's best-selling lowest price lineup. Ford means value. See your local Ford dealer. Look close and compare.
When you come to the Bell system, business communication is a lot more than just telephones.
It's research and development.
Supply.
Installation. Operations. Maintenance. And the Bell system takes responsibility for all of it. 100%.
Total responsibility from the Bell system.
Who knows more about phones than the phone company?
Frank Lieber with Lynn Shackelford at the Seattle Coliseum, ready to go in the second period of this NBA Western Conference semifinal playoff game. And the tip is controlled by the Warriors, who are down by one. Nice feed underneath to George Johnson, who stuffs it for two. And the Warriors break out here at the gate, like they did in the first period, on top. Pass to Burleson. Ripped on the arm by Johnson. And he'll go to the line with 2 shots. Burleson at 9 points in the first period. Pretty good quarter.
He looked very good. As tall as he is, when he goes up and starts going to the basket, you've got to foul him, hopefully before that, but they called it that he was going to the basket. So Johnson picks up his first personal foul. Clifford Ray is on the bench with 2 personals.
Trying to break the tie here. Not a bad free throw shooter either.
He's very good. Of course, he was on the 1972 United States Olympic basketball team.
Butch Beard. Slick Watts all over him. Wilkes. Back to Beard. One on the left side now. Barry, by the way, in the first quarter had just 2 free throws. Did not have a basket. Mullins with a rather wild hook shot there. Cleared by Skinner. This is Skinner. Skinner has 6 points coming off the bench.
Just about the time you don't think he's a very good shooter, he hits a long one like that.
Sonics by 3. Beard. That's his first basket. 27-26 Seattle. Watts says he wears that headband to keep the hair out of his eyes.
No, I don't think so. He's only one of 2 players that wears the headband now. Jimmy Walker of Kansas City, Omaha, being the other.
Burleson with 3 seconds on the shot clock. Almost a desperation throw there. Beard. Over Skinner. Nice rebound by Mullins. Excellent position under the basket. Warriors 28, Sonics 27. Mullins got him on the arm.
A little foul that Jeff Mullins just accidentally reached in there and hit him with. He doesn't like it. And it's not going to have anything happen except Seattle will get the ball out of bounds.
Haywood had only 2 points in the first period, misses. Berry with the rebound, shovels it off to Beard. Back to Berry.
Considering Rick Berry is not having a good game to date, the Warriors are doing quite well to lead by 1 point. Of course, Seattle was probably saying the same thing, that they're doing well to trail by only 1 point, with Spencer Haywood scoring only 2.
Barry has had 39, 29, and 33 points in the first 3 playoff games. Watts trying to move on Mullins. To Haywood, the captain of the Sonics. But he's done everything but be with a championship team, and that's his goal. He's fouled by Wilkes.
21.
Now that's the only time Tom Burleson will leave the low post, when he comes out, and then Spencer Haywood gets the ball underneath against the shorter Wilkes, and Wilkes had to foul him that time.
Watts to Skinner. The big guy, Burleson. Scraping hook shot. Perfect.
He had trouble adjusting, Burleson did, the early part of the season, because the lane is 16 feet wide in pro ball and only 12 feet in college. But now you can see he's adjusting to it, utilizing that hook shot well again.
Burleson has got 13 points. Foul called.
Spencer Haywood picks up his second personal foul. He is guarding Keith Wilkes, and they've got Calvin Skinner on Berry.
Mullins. Beautiful turnaround jumper by Mullins, who for 4 years led the Warriors in scoring. Look there over the shoulder of Bill Russell. Burleson trying to pass it to Watts underneath. Breakaway for Barry. That's his first field goal of the game. 4 points for Barry. Watts. Skinner trying to take Barry out of position. Back to Watts, driving the lane. Nice arch on it, but wouldn't fall. Wilkes on the rebound. Warriors by 3. Layup missed by Beard. Skinner going the other way. 3 on 2. Give and go. Foul called on Johnson. George Johnson, who leads the Warriors in blocked shots.
Initially, when I heard the whistle, I thought it might be goaltending, but that certainly was not goaltending on that play.
8 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in the first half, and Golden State holds a 3-point edge.
Michelin, Michelin.
Dear Michelin, I'm absolutely amazed at the difference your steel-belted radials make. Road adhesion is unbelievable, and traction on cornering is out of sight. I plan to drive on nothing but Michelins in the future.
Ever since we invented the steel-belted radial, Americans have been sold on Michelin. Prove it to yourself. Dr. Buckland did. Michelin, the steel-belted radial leader.
We made it first, we make it last.
American men, wake up. This is 1975. Break loose in the Ford Trail Freedom look. It's getting away, breaking loose from the old uptight way of dressing. A&S has it in these leisure suits from John Alexander and Levi Panatella. They're made with Ford Trail polyester. That's all you need to know. So have fun. Break loose in the Freedom look. The Ford Trail Freedom look at the Abraham and Strauss nearest you.
Out of the middle of all this playoff action, CBS is a special attraction for sports fans in the form of one of the most talked about events of the year. And we're talking, of course, about the $250,000 tennis challenge match between Jimmy Connors and John Newcomb. The war of words is just about over, and the rest of it is going to be resolved on the tennis court next Saturday. Who's the best tennis player in the world? Find out with the rest of us next Saturday beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time on CBS. Jimmy Connors and John Newcomb go at it in Las Vegas. Skinner on the free throw line for the Sonics, who trail 32-29. See, we got any more substitutions, Lynn?
Jim Fox has come in to replace Burleson at center, and that's exactly what I thought Al Adels would counter. He took George Johnson out. George Johnson did an excellent job on Burleson, and he has brought Clifford Ray back in to play Jim Fox. Now, Fox is the only other player besides Clark on the Seattle team to have had previous playoff experience.
Skinner has 7 points. Warriors by 2. Beard guarded by Watts. Watts was not drafted, by the way. Good touch by Mullins underneath. Jeff has 6. Brown trying to get around Beard. Made a move for the baseline and changed his mind. Haywood to Fox. Brown. Fouled as he got it away by Beard.
It looked pretty obvious that during the last time out, Coach Bill Russell told the Sonics to move the ball a little bit more because they moved it quite well around the perimeter of the court. And the foul, of course, was on the shot. A lot of people might say that he fouled him after the shot, but his active shooting was not completed. Therefore, he was fouled in the act of shooting.
Fred Brown. Brown was 5th in steals in the NBA this season and 15th in scoring with an average of 21 points per game, but he's been very inconsistent in the playoffs and did not start today's game.
He's had only one good playoff game, and he shot 12 out of 19 in that one, and that was the sole Seattle victory when they won 100-99 in Oakland.
34-31. 34-32. Brown has 4 points. 7:55 left to play in the half. Barry has Skinner on him. Underneath the Wilkes. Over Haywood. Watts gets it up point to Fred Brown. Brown having trouble controlling and fouled apparently by Barry.
Yeah, Barry doesn't say anything on the call. He knows very definitely he tried to foul him. He's getting a little bit frustrated, and I think they're probably going to take him out of the game. That was an obvious foul. He had no chance to steal the ball, and sometimes when you are frustrated, you make fouls like that. It's for him an awful first half so far, and I'm sure he's quite upset about it. Derek Dickey's the man that's going to come in there.
1+1 here for Fred Brown.
And another. Sometimes in a player like Barry's case, if you take him out, let him sit on the bench and watch the action, collect his thoughts a little bit and cool off, he can come back in and hit 4 or 5 jumpers in a row. We've seen it happen many times.
That ties it up at 34. Beard. Watts trying to get to him, took a swipe at him, and I think caught him right across the face.
Slick Watts says there's no way that I fouled the man. Is it a backcourt foul or not? No, it will not be a backcourt foul, obviously. I can see where Slick Watts had a little argument with the official there. Both of them, I think, got their hands on each other.
A little discussion going on now.
They have a 20-second injury timeout. You're allowed, in each half, each team is allowed one of those.
Charlie Johnson has come back into the game for the Warriors. Number 10. Guarded by Brown. Oh, he is slippery and quick. This Golden State team has just completely turned around from last year. It's very slow.
There's very good help. Baseline by the center, Jim Fox. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. When a man goes baseline, as Wilkes did around Haywood, Fox got over there and got good position and drew the offensive foul. That's the second personal on Keith.
Watts guarded by Mullins. The Fox in the high post. Brown from 18 feet dumps it through.
If he warms up, look out. So far, they have been able to contain the Seattle guards, but Brown is capable of getting hot at any time.
Sonics have the lead back by 2. Mullins trying to tie it. Oh, I tell you, got a little physical under the boards there as Haywood went sprawling. Timeout is being called by the Golden State Warriors. The other night here, we had 4 near fist fights. The officials finally had to call both coaches together. Say the next guy that raises his fist, we're going to be thrown out of the game.
Hey, Detroit, How about a special offer for guys who need big cars?
Ford presents a new limited edition Ford that's sticker priced at least $332 less than full-size Fords have been. It comes with automatic transmission, power steering, power brakes, steel-belted radials, and more. There's also a lower-priced limited edition of America's favorite full-size wagon. But quantities are limited, so order now for best selection. Ford means value. See your local Ford dealer. Look close and compare.
This is an antiperspirant spray called Sure. It's different. Really. Most antiperspirant sprays go on wet and oily, compared to Sure, which goes on dry. And Sure keeps you dry. Prove it under your own two arms. Try Sure on your left side, and the spray you like best on your right side. If you're like most people, your left side will convince your right side. You'll be drier. We're sure.
Tuesday night, the NBA on CBS brings you Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Playoff Series between the defending champion Boston Celtics and the Houston Rockets. The young Houston club is a tough uphill battle against the quick, versatile Celtics, featuring 4 NBA All-Stars who led them to the league's best regular season record. That's Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 Central, 6 Pacific Time, here on CBS. In case you didn't join us until just recently, earlier this afternoon, Houston defeated Boston in Houston, 117-102. Makes that stand 2-1. Boston.
Couple substitutions. Tom Burleson was given a very brief rest. He comes back in at center, and Rick Barry for the Warriors comes back in.
Sonics lead by 2. Barry still having troubles hitting.
He really wanted to hit that shot. That could have got him going if he had swished that one.
Fred Brown. Derek Dickey has checked into the game for the first time for Golden State. That's 10 points for Brown. Sonics by 4. I don't believe they've been ahead by more than 4. Golden State's been up by 6 in a couple of occasions. Veteran Jeff Mullins out of Duke. Charlie Johnson driving on Watts. Ray going up for the rebound, and he got him on the hands. I believe.
Quick watch. Yep. He was a little man underneath. That sometimes you can grab a guy's wrist and the officials don't catch it. But that time Paul Mahalik was right on top of it. Clifford Ray holding 1 out of 3 at the free throw line so far. Is back to try again.
Ray, of course, came to the Warriors from Chicago and is one of the driving forces that turned the Warriors into winners.
But a very good trade, off-season trade for the Warriors when they traded away Nate Thurman, and they received not only Clifford Ray, but a sum of cash and a #1 draft pick.
They got a lot of years in the exchange, too.
Very definitely, and he has really made them from a slow team into a quick team. And, of course, when you have players like Barry, they like to run, and they haven't been doing that this afternoon very much.
Sonics lead by 2. 6 minutes left to play in the first half. Burleson in the high post. Ray is on him. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. 5 seconds. Brown from 22 feet.
Now he's starting to warm up, as we suggested he can. He's an outstanding outside shooter. Mullins, who was trying to fight through a screen, kind of got hit in the face that time, but he looks okay.
That's 12 points for Fred Brown. Mullins. Dickey with the rebound. Skinner grabs the next one for Seattle. To Brown. Barry out quickly on him. Brown played his college ball in Iowa. Burleson to Watts. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Brown again. 2.
Al Reynolds is going to call timeout. I think you're going to have to see a substitution. Somebody has got to get out there and pick up Fred Brown. He's starting to get a little too hot.
Standing ovation for the Sonics, led by their coach, Bill Russell, who welcomes them to the bench. 42-36. Sonics lead with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
If you drive, nobody has to tell you the price of gasoline is not what it used to be. So for your benefit, there's STP gas treatment. If you have a dirty carburetor, STP can help restore the precious mileage you're probably losing. Because STP gas treatment helps clean gas-eating dirty carburetors and helps keep them clean. play it safe. Put STP gas treatment in every tank full. The way prices have climbed, you can't afford a dirty carburetor.
I'm telling you, Jake, pound for pound, he was the best man I ever saw.
Yeah, Joe, he should have been champ. He had a lift. Excuse me, sir. Yeah, what is it, kid? I want to be a fighter. Oh, you do, huh?
Well, who doesn't? What's your name, Sonny?
Dempsey, sir.
Dempsey? Ah!
Dempsey.
And I suppose your first name is Jack.
Yes, sir, it is. Jack Dempsey.
Oh, well, that's different.
Another Jack Dempsey.
Hey, Jawbone, what do you say you go a couple of rounds with Mr. Jack Dempsey?
I'd enjoy to.
When you've got a well-known name, people expect a lot. We've got a beer named after the city that means beer, Old Milwaukee. It's a tough name to live up to, but Old Milwaukee is one of the fastest-growing major beers in the country. Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
Back to work. Golden State. Johnny Johnson across the center line. His team trails by 6 now. As Fred Brown has really gotten hot. He has 12 points here in the second period, 14 on the game. And Barry still having his troubles finding the hoop. Beard. Nice tip in by Ray. Gives him 6 on the game. 42-38.
Butch Beard was put into the game primarily now for defensive purposes against Fred Brown. We'll see what kind of job he can do. Either Butch Beard or Phil Smith, who I'm surprised hasn't been used today so far for Golden State, are the people that normally guard Fred Brown.
Foul is on Burleson, his second. Brought Russell to his feet. Barry. Skinner on him. He was fouled.
Barry says yes. 14,000 people here in Seattle say no. Calvin Skinner is showing that he's got some defensive talent. He does get faked into the air very definitely. He tried to avoid the foul. Whether he did or not, who knows?
Barry has 4 points. Only 1 basket, that on a layup. And he's now 3 out of 3 from the free throw line. 42-39. Sonics. 90% free throw shooter on the year. Number 1 in the league in steals, second in scoring, 5th in assists. But having his problems today is Mr. Barry. Sonics by 2. Brown, 25-footer. Oh, he is hot.
It will count. When you're hot, everything goes in. Some people would say it's a soft touch, and Fred Brown would be one of them. That was an unusual shot for it to drop. Butch Beard picks up on the play his 3rd personal foul. And as we said, Butch has a tendency to get in foul trouble, and he might, guarding this very hot Fred Brown.
That is 17 points for Fred Brown. Make it 15 points. Sonics by 5, 45-40. 4 minutes left to play in the half. Barry still can't find the range.
He seems to be short, Rick does. On most of his misses, a little bit short, as he was then.
Clear man is Skinner. He got it anyway. He thought maybe he shouldn't have waited that long, Lynn.
No, he couldn't decide whether to go up strong or whether to fake, and he faked and hung in the air, and it turned out pretty well.
Sonics by 7 for the first time. Assistant coach for Seattle there is Bob Hopkins, who is the coach at Xavier in Louisiana, brought Slick Watts.
Yep, he coached him there. He coached there for 5 years. Al Attles is completing his 5th full season as the coach of the Golden State Warriors. He's never had a losing season. He has missed the playoffs only once, and that was last year. And this year, of course, with their 48 wins, they had the best record in the Western Conference. And you would have to assume that they would be the favorites to win this playoff series. They lead it 2-1.
Now let's see if we can listen in. That's the fellow they called the Destroyer back in his playing days. He was a pretty rough customer.
Very rough. And if there's a fight that breaks out here on the floor this afternoon, you'll see Al Attles sprint out on the floor, not to get involved, but to break it up.
Sonics lead by 7 for the first time this afternoon with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the first half. They need this game bad to tie the series at 2 games apiece.
I think it's imperative that Seattle, if they can stay in this playoff series, needs to win this afternoon. Go back for that 5th game down 3-1 in Oakland Tuesday night, and you'd be in a lot of trouble.
Game 5 is Tuesday in Oakland. As Lynn mentioned, Game 6 Thursday back here in Seattle. And a 7th game, if necessary, would be Saturday in Oakland.
Keith Wilkes has sure been on the bench for a long time here in the second quarter for Golden State. He had an outstanding first quarter, Wilkes did. He's not in foul trouble either.
Skinner, number 22, guarded closely by Barry. Brown is being guarded by Beard. Beard's got 3 fouls on him. Watts moving here on Johnson, trying to set the screen for Brown. Shooting over Beard. Well, he probably missed one. Dickey coming down with the rebound. Johnson gets a pick from Ray. Up over the backboard and out of bounds.
Another Golden State Warriors shot that seems to be short. This is its mark. Sometimes when you're short, you got to compensate. Shoot the ball a little bit longer. Maybe jump a little higher on your jump shot. Use your legs more. Then you'll probably shoot it long.
Burleson in the high post. Handing off to Brown. Got it.
There's a man that doesn't have to worry about his shot right now. Anything he does, any way he shoots it, it's usually going to go in.
19 points for Brown, all but 2 here in the second quarter. Dickey has it. 49-42. Sonics leading with 2.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Watts. Burleson guarded by Ray. 10 seconds on the shot clock.
They're just looking for Fred Brown now. It's pretty obvious.
That one tipped away, picked up by Charlie Johnson. Dickey, who broke loose to forehand for the night foul for traveling.
As we said, their leader of the Warriors is Rick Barry. He is having an awful first half, and it is rubbing off on the rest of the team now. They're all starting to look a little bit confused as Dickey traveled with the ball.
Charles Dudley has come into the game for Golden State. He has not played much in the playoffs. Number 15.
I'm really surprised he comes in instead of Phil Smith, but again, it's to try to defend against Fred Brown.
Haywood driving on Dickey.
Pretty soon, Al Ellis may put on a uniform and try to stop Fred Brown. He is really hot.
First foul on Dickey. We're in the penalty on both sides here.
A lot of people might be saying that Spencer Haywood is not having a good playoff series. Haywood is averaging 19 points a game, however. He's doing a good job of rebounding, and he's trying to play the hard defense. He's done a fine job, regardless of whether he's guarding Barry or Dickey or Wilkes on defense.
That was only his 3rd point of the game. 51-42. Sonics with their biggest lead. Dudley hands off to Ray, trying to get around Burleson. Like trying to scale a mountain. Johnson. Well, things just won't go down for Golden State.
And credit good defense by Seattle. They're not giving up any open shots either.
Haywood. Whistle. Foul on Barry. And that is 4 personal fouls on Rick Barry, and he'll come out of the game. He has got to be a little frustrated right now.
I would say so. We'll see what happens in the second half. Rick Barry has said on CBS that you don't stop the great ones. They stop themselves. I classify him as a great one, so it'll be interesting to see what he does and how he reacts in the second half.
Haywood on the line. Barry has just 1 basket down on a layup and 4 free throws. Haywood now with 5 points. And the Sonics with an 11-point lead. 53-42. Golden State hadn't been able to buy a basket here in the last 5 minutes. This is Dudley. Nice move.
That'll surprise a few people.
He's spinning around like a top.
He used to play right here at the University of Washington, so he's quite familiar to these Seattle fans.
Just over a minute left to play in the first half. Skinner gets it inside to Burleson. Big hook. Nice hook. Good ball.
That'll be a climbing foul over the back on Calvin Skinner. He tried to climb over Keith Wilkes. His third personal foul, and it'll be free throw time, in fact, for Keith Wilkes.
Wilkes had an outstanding first period, scored 10 points.
Keith Wilkes at UCLA, Frank, set an UCLA team record for free throw percentage in one season last year. He shot 87%. And he comes into the NBA and he dropped down to only 73% this year in regular season, and you saw him miss that first one there.
Well, Atlanta fans are going to cheer for John Drew, obviously, but out here, Wilkes is a runaway choice as the Rookie of the Year. 53-45, Sonics. Into the big guy. Archie Clark over Ray. Watts. Haywood.
Well, they have taken over control of the backboards, and therefore they're getting some very good percentage shots. Second effort that time by Haywood.
Whistle and a foul under the basket.
Good with the body. Here, 1-on-1.
Archie Clark picks up the foul. You're going to have 1+1 for little Charlie Dudley. For Clark, that's his third personal foul. Seattle is playing very good basketball right now. They're very aggressive.
(55-47). Sonics leading with 30 seconds left to play in the half. Clark driving on Dudley. Dudley held him.
Archie Clark is a very difficult player to handle one-on-one. You don't want him to go around you, and yet he's fakey enough that he can go around most people. So Dudley, rather than have him go around him, tried to hold him, but he still went around him. Picked up the foul also.
1+1 here. Clark has had a rather amazing career. He's been with 4 different clubs, but every year they've been in the playoffs.
He takes great pride with that stat.
10-point lead for the Sonics. Johnny Johnson gets it across to Dickey. 20 seconds left to play in the half. Dudley taking a look at the shot clock, which shows 10 seconds.
It's 2 seconds ahead of the game clock.
Wilkes. 25-footer. Watts comes down with it. 2 seconds to go, and that's it.
Well, they ran it down, Golden State did, but they once again did not get a very good shot. And that has probably been what's wrong with them here in the first half.
Seattle Supersonics and Bill Russell taking charge in the second period and leading by 10 at halftime.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Ford announces a no-nonsense $250 off the sticker price on not just any new car, but America's best-selling newcomer, Ford Granada. In a limited edition you can order now, specially equipped with new exterior trim, a new bench seat and vinyl door trim. Also $250 off on limited edition Granadas with options like air conditioning and power steering. Comes in 3 feature colors in 2- and 4-door models. Quantities are limited, so see your Ford dealer and order fast. Ford means value. Look close and compare.
Okay, John. I'm John Havlicek, and I'm 6 feet 5 inches.
You're trying to reach the rim, okay?
Jonathan Hadley is 4 feet 2 inches. But we're both part of the new NBA Special Olympics basketball program for mentally retarded youngsters. I'm a coach, and Jonathan's learning very fast. Right, Jonathan?
All right.
For information on playing or coaching, please write Special Olympics, Washington, D.C.
Frank Lieber with Lynn Shackelford at the Seattle Coliseum. We're at halftime of this capacity crowd of 14,000 enjoying what they're seeing right now as the Seattle Supersonics, moving out in the second period, lead the Golden State Warriors by a score of 57-47. And as we mentioned, Rick Barry having his problems for Golden State for the first time in the playoffs. Barry has had just one field goal, that on a layup, and has hit 4 out of 4 free throws for 6 points. That's one of the reasons that his team is down by a total of 10 points. Barry, of course, finished second in the NBA scoring race during the regular season, and up until this game, he's averaged 33 points in Golden State's 3 playoff games so far. Rick also is one of sports' more outspoken figures, and neither he nor his wife are doing anything to diminish that reputation, as Ken Squire reports.
The Golden State Warriors' Rick Barry this season led the NBA in free throw percentage, in steals. He was second in scoring average. Rick Barry, a man of whom more has been written than perhaps any other player in NBA history, but also is least understood. Rick, over the years, you've been one of the most maligned people in professional sports. You've been called an opportunist, selfish. Some have called you one time or another a deserter. How does one handle all of that?
Well, for me to say that it doesn't bother me would be ridiculous. It does bother you. And mainly because the people who wrote those things never picked up the telephone and called me and asked me my side of the story. They just assumed certain things, and they went out and wrote articles based upon, let's say, hearsay.
But the things that were said about you were the kind of things that crush people. What kind of advice could you give someone who was facing those kind of problems, or even one of them?
Well, I don't really feel that you can let things like that bother you. You have an objective, I think, and my objective when I play sports is to be the best that I possibly can be. And to let words that somebody says about me affect my performance, I think would be foolish. I just take things as they come along day by day. I don't really worry about it. I'm a very optimistic person. I can always see the bright side of things regardless of what happens. People tend to be pessimistic. They drive me crazy. My wife, sometimes I really get into it with her a little bit because she's basically very pessimistic.
Rick handles that a lot better than I do. Rick feels I'm much more concerned about what people say and think, more so than he is. He feels he is what he is, and you either accept him, you either love him or hate him. I think he probably has to take a stand and say what he wants to say and do what he wants to do. And as long as he believes in it, then just stick by it. And I respect him for that.
After all the years and all the criticism, is he able to leave that outside the door when he walks in the house, Pam?
For some reason, the athlete can't seem to make the transition from the husband and father to whatever sport he goes into.
Well, he's a sports celebrity. He's married to a beautiful woman, has a beautiful home.
You know, he wasn't a sports celebrity when I married him, and I don't really look at him as a sports celebrity. I really strive for him to be a husband and a father first, and somebody who just happens to play basketball, and that's the way he makes his living second.
Also, really wrapped up with my children right now. I really get a kick out of being with them and doing things with them, and I try to spend as much time as I can, whether it's going to watch my son track meet or what have you. I just enjoy spending time with them, and each one is a different person in his own right, and each one brings me a different degree of satisfaction and enjoyment, and I'm just trying to make the most of that.
Many times heroes and celebrities are not that when they walk through the door at home. How was it for Rick Barry?
I'm not any big star as far as my children are concerned. In fact, my 2 younger boys are in love with Clifford Ray. I mean, it's unbelievable. The 3-year-old picked up on Clifford and mimics him. It's unbelievable how he mimics him. I mean, he's got his walk down, and he's got the mean, surly face, and he plays basketball in a little basket, and he throws the slam dunks down in there, and I never taught him any of that. He just picked it up by himself, and then the 2-year-old copies him, and they do an unbelievable imitation of Clifford Ray. It's really fantastic.
Rick, many people feel that because of the immense salaries that pro basketball players receive, that they've become sort of the spoiled brats of American sport. How do you feel about that?
I'm sure that there are some individuals who are more concerned about the money that they're making than about the game itself, and I think that that's really unfortunate. And there's just too much emphasis, I think, put on the money nowadays. And of course, the first thing that anybody wants to hear about when somebody's coming along, rookie coming out of college, hey, how much money is he making? What's his bonus? What's this? What's that? Well, I think that the owners have finally come to the point where they realize that they were killing themselves. They have nobody to blame but themselves for the price structure of basketball these days. The NBA owners were so worried about the ABA coming into existence that they started paying exorbitant figures to the rookies coming out of the league. Then the veterans got upset because they say, hey, I've played for 5 years and you're not compensating me, so I want more money. And then players start playing out options, and this is where all the problem has arisen. But now I think that they've more or less become more level-headed about it, and you're not going to see those outrageous contracts except for an exception, a player like a Walton, who was so great in college.
How does Rick Barry want the historians of basketball to write about him in 20 years?
I would just like them to say that Rick Barry was a fine all-around basketball player, that he could do a little bit of everything and do it well.
And that's another perspective on the heart of the Golden State, soon to be called the Oakland Warriors. Rick Barry. Ken Squire, CBS Sports, near Walnut Creek, California.
NBA playoffs will continue after this word from your local station. Florence Henderson and Oscar winner Ellen Burstyn invite you to the Women of the Year Awards tonight at 10, 9 Central on CBS.
Last month I talked to a Mr. Miller. Last week it was Mrs. Conley. I'm not sure they understood. There seemed to be so...
Ever feel you're not getting through to your banker with your personal money questions? Wouldn't you like one person who knows you to take care of your banking needs? See Irving Trust. We assign you one person, a personal banker. That person will handle all your money matters, savings, loans, checking, whatever. And in this busy world, isn't that what you need? Get personal with Irving.
In 1850, Levi Strauss invented the toughest pants the West had ever known. Levi's blue jeans.
We put a little blue jean in everything we make.
Today, we're threading that same blue jean spirit through every shirt, pant, and jacket we make.
We put a little blue jean in everything we make.
In everything we make.
Levi's.
Channel 2, New York.
Welcome back to the Seattle Coliseum, and Rick Barry has to find the key here in the second half if Golden State is going to get back into this basketball game. Here at halftime, as 14,000 fans relax and await the start of the final 24 minutes of action, let's run down the rest of the NBA playoff series, and this is the way things look. You recall earlier this afternoon, Houston beat Boston by a score of 117 to 102, so they're very much back in that series, Len.
Well, the home team has won every one of those first 3 games, and I think, of course, the 4th game will be played in Houston. So we'll see what happens. Dave Cowens fouled out in that game, and certainly that was a factor this afternoon.
You'll be able to see that 4th game on CBS Tuesday night. That's the Eastern Conference semifinal playoff series. Like all of these series now, the best of 7. Eastern Conference, Buffalo and Washington. That series is tied at 2 games apiece after a very exciting game last night. Didn't that Bob McAdoo put on a show?
50 points. Of course, he's quite capable of scoring 50 points anytime he walks out on a basketball floor. I'm still surprised, though, that Washington, with all their great talent that they have, I still think will beat the Buffalo Braves, but you never know.
Game 5 of that series scheduled for tomorrow, and you'll see it on CBS. And right here in Seattle, this is the way things stand. Golden State leads it 2 games to 1, but they now have the home court advantage because 2 of the last 3 games following this one will be played in Oakland on Golden State's home court. So it's vitally important for the Seattle Supersonics to win this one at home today.
And they're playing quite well so far. Golden State won that first game easily. They won by 27 after leading at times by 30 points. Seattle edged them at Oakland, and then, of course, the last game Thursday night here in Seattle, the Warriors won.
Chicago and Kansas City, Omaha. And like a couple of the other series, this one is knotted up at 2 games apiece, and Game 5 is scheduled tomorrow in Chicago, and you'll be able to see it on CBS. They had a thriller last night that Kansas City, Omaha narrowly won, 104 to 104 to 100. That game went overtime, by the way, and Chicago, I know, lost Sloan. He was ejected from the ball game.
Yep, and Van Leer fouled out. Chet Walker must have come up with a real clutch 4th quarter performance just to get the game into overtime.
So that's the way things stand around the National Basketball Association as suspense continues to build in the NBA playoffs of 74-75.
I think people are oftentimes surprised by the amount of money we can save them on their homeowners insurance.
And although I don't think that's the primary reason they buy from me or buy from State Farm agents, I think the reason they buy from me and other fellows like myself is because of the great service we render.
For low rates and good service on homeowners insurance, see your nearby State Farm agent.
State Farm is there.
When the Benton family goes out to dinner, they have to cross a big chunk of the North Atlantic to do it. So when they get to our Pizza Hut in Maine, we want to give every Benton exactly what he wants. And not just a delicious pizza, piping hot cavatelli pasta, salads, and sandwiches too. When families like the Bentons take the trouble to come to our restaurant, we make sure it's worth the trip. At Pizza Hut, our people make it better.
Hello, I'm Bob Cousy. You know, I'm very proud to be a member of the National Basketball Hall of Fame. Here in the Honors Court, you see the portraits of the great men in the history of the game, along with the listings of the contributions each made to basketball. So why not plan a visit to Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, on the campus of Springfield College. It's open daily except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day.
Both teams back in the court now, taking a few warm-up shots prior to the start of the second half of play. Seattle, I guess surprisingly, when you look over the season stats again, has been out-rebounding Golden State this afternoon. As we mentioned at the start, Golden State was the second-best rebounding club in the NBA in the regular season, and Seattle was the third worst, but that's been turned 25-19 as the rebound edge. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in the first half of play. You recall first quarter, Golden State at the edge, and then, of course, Seattle came back.
Clifford Ray, of course, normally sets up at the high post, and he likes to hand off to somebody. Charlie Johnson, his teammates call him CJ, saw an opening, and he got around, and Burleson was unable to pick him up, and he got the basket. Of course, Tom Burleson can do some scoring of his own, and he exhibited that in the first half. He was tripped, and everyone stopped thinking the whistle was blown, but then when he regained balance, and without the whistle, he went in for the basket. Rick Barry is not having a good night, or good afternoon offensively, but he did pass off considerably, and one time was to Keith Wilkes, who of course can really hit that open jump shot when they double team Barry. And once again, Tom Burleson, who they're going to more and more as the season progresses, especially here in the playoffs, gets that hook shot going that we said that he used so effectively in college, and now that he gets adjusted to the lane is using well in the pros. Fred Brown, of course, was the man that warmed up in the second quarter. Here he hit a shot that is easy for him when he's shooting well, near the top of the key, and he got a screen that freed him. And once again, it's Brown. Of course, when you're hot, I guess, and everything seems to drop in, as that shot shows there. Seattle became the aggressive team in the second quarter. They started controlling the boards, as Frank was alluding to a minute ago, and that enabled them to get some second and third efforts. And when you give Spencer Haywood a little shot like that from the corner, he's going to put it in. Al Attles, looking over the stats, cannot be too happy with either the score or the stats.
Here is what Al Attles is looking at, and he is not very happy right now with these figures. Sonics with 48% of their field goals to 37% for the Warriors, and Sonics done well from the free throw line, 86%. And as we mentioned, they have out-rebounded Golden State 25-19.
Some of the individual highlights, Frank. In 22 minutes, Rick Barry made 1 out of 8 shots from the floor and scored only 6 points. Wilkes was the leading Warrior scorer with 11. The Warriors, of course, made only 17 of 46 shots. That's not very good. On the other hand, for Seattle, Tom Burleson made 5 of 9 shots, registering 13 points. Their leading scorer, though, was Fred Brown with 19 in 17 minutes of play. He made 6 out of 10 shots, 7 out of 8 from the free throw line. And Little Slick Watts passed off for 7 assists to lead both teams in that category. The leading rebounder was surprisingly Talvin Skinner, who pulled down 7 rebounds. And credit Skinner not only with good rebounding, but with excellent defensive play. An old Boston Celtic tradition is you always make the last shot in warm-ups. And Bill Russell saw someone miss just then, so he sent Leonard Gray down to the other end of the floor for a slam dunk. Watch the Boston Celtics warm up sometime before a game. You always see John Havlicek put it in. Red Auerbach, and I guess it's rubbed off on many of his former players, very superstitious.
Big Bill superstitious? I can't believe that.
Well, I'm not sure whether he is or he's not, but he's not taking any chances.
He's not taking any chances, exactly. All right, ready to go in the second half of action, the final 24 minutes of play. The officials, Mendy Rudolph and Paul Mahalik. Burleson in the center circle along with Clifford Ray. Sonics by 10, 57-47. Wilkes controlling the tip to Barry. Beard. Wilkes guarded very closely by Spencer Haywood. Did a good job defensively. Here's Wilkes over Burleson, hitting. 13 points by Keith Wilkes.
Looks like they're going to have to rely on Wilkes an awful lot this afternoon, and he has responded, especially the 2 games Barry missed in regular season. Keith came up with great games.
Burleson. Watch. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Barry going high to pull it down.
Slick Watts really didn't want to shoot that shot. I think he may have thought he was going to draw the foul.
Wilkes trying to hit, and then on his follow-through, bumping Archie Clark.
For Keith Wilkes in the game, that is his 3rd personal foul. You're so upset that you miss an easy jump shot, as Wilkes did then, that you want to get your own rebound, and in your overexuberance, you foul him.
Here's Skinner. Led both sides in rebounds. Burleson gets his first 2 of the second half, gives him 15 on the game.
He has really improved this year, and he has learned to get closer and closer to the basket with 1 or 2 steps, and that's what he did there.
Clifford Ray. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Wilkes with 6 seconds. Tip and try by Beard, again by Beard. A little one-on-one going there between Beard and Tab Skinner. Number 22.
Mendy Rudolph, the dean of NBA officials, in his 22nd season calls an offensive foul on Butch Beard. So credit Calvin Skinner with a great effort. It's the 4th personal on Butch Beard. Let's see where he did it. He jumped over Calvin Skinner's back right there.
Beard, the only player who has been hobbled, and he's limping right now for the Warriors. He's turned his ankle several times in this playoff series. He's playing despite that injury. That's beautiful. Lead by Burleson, getting it into Watts, and it's 61-49 and a 12-point bound for the Seattle Supersonics with 10 minutes and 27 seconds left to play in the 3rd period here at the Seattle Coliseum.
Today, at a high-level meeting, Volkswagen engineers announced to their management that the new Volkswagen Rabbit would average an incredible 38 miles to a gallon down the highway, go from 0 to 50 in a swift 8.2 seconds, and it wouldn't cost a bundle. Management's reaction?
Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Happy days are here again.
When a man uses an aftershave, what does he really want?
Fancy bottles?
Full of fancy perfume? And fancy prices? No! A man wants to smell like a man.
There's something about
Aqua Velva.
He wants to be cool and refreshed.
There's something about Aqua Velva. A man wants to feel like a man.
Feel like a man, 'cause there's something about an Aqua Velva man.
William Felton Russell, candidate for Coach of the Year with the job that he's done with this young Seattle team, featuring 6 rookies. There's never been a team that's gotten into the NBA playoffs with that many rookies. You can see the job they're doing today. Charlie Johnson bringing it down for Golden State to Beard. Keith Wilkes. Barry, who has just 6 points in the first half and only 1 field goal. Wilkes trying to hook it over Burleson. Haywood grabs the rebound. Skinner. Out to Watts. Got the shot. Didn't take it. Skinner from the corner. Cliff Ray.
Although Watts is not the man they want shooting, he passed to Skinner, and I'm not sure that Seattle wants Skinner to take that shot. So they didn't really work it the way they wanted to that time.
Butch Beard, one-time Seattle Supersonic, driving lane and missing. Burleson, 3-on-2. How about that? Little give and go between Burleson and Skinner. Boy, I hate to be in his way.
3 on the fast break with Big Tom in the middle.
At 17 points for Burleson, 63-49. Let's look at it again. Lynn.
He can handle the ball. Ideally, you don't want the man to handle the ball. Credit Talvin Skinner with making a fine play, a good give and go.
Johnson hits for Golden State. You might have noticed Barry backing off a little bit because he's in foul trouble, and he did not contest Burleson on that dunk. You probably didn't have much of a chance anywhere with that guy coming at you.
This is where your home court advantage really pays off. Because Golden State now, if they were playing at home and they were coming from behind, the crowd would really get behind them if they hit a couple baskets. But if they hit a couple baskets here in Seattle, nothing will happen.
Beard. And that's exactly what is happening. They're hitting and nothing's happening as far as the crowd goes, except to try to urge the Sonics to get it going again. 10-point difference between the two clubs. Clark trying to control the ball there and had Beard all over him.
Yeah, that's 5 personal fouls on Butch Beard. Here comes Fred Brown into the game, and here comes Jeff Mullins for Golden State. So we'll see who has to guard or gets the honor of guarding Fred Brown.
Slick Watts gets a rest, and Brown, who is out of a firecracker in the second period when he scored 17 of his 19 points, is back in the contest. That's him, number 32. Haywood.
Seattle now has a chance to break the game wide open, unless, of course, Rick Barry or someone for Golden State should get the hot hand.
Keith Wilkes getting away from Haywood. Charlie Johnson, the open man, he's got 12. 65-55. Brown. Johnson all over him. Underneath to Burleson. Rick Barry collision there with Barry.
Yeah, Barry was helping out from the weak side. He kind of fell back, not only trying to avoid a foul, but hopefully getting a charge call on Burleson.
Johnson, who's been the only Warrior to hit here in the second half, really. Barry has been shooting. Johnson again, this time missing, and Haywood grabs another rebound. Sonics continue to control the backboards.
Yep, they're the aggressive team. They're dominating the backboards, and they're picking up confidence here as the game progresses.
Brown bounces right to Haywood. Everything going right for Seattle. Couldn't hit the one-hander, and Ray grabs the next one.
We'll see what Golden State does on offense. I think Rick Barry's got to start taking some shots, and obviously hitting them as well.
Keith Wilkes has the clear shot from 22 feet. Haywood, one rebound after the other, 2-on-1. Brown off to Skinner. Let's see, goaltending or a foul?
No, there's a foul on Golden State.
Loose ball foul.
Fred Brown tried to delay until the last second to pass off to the man underneath. It was an outstanding block by Clifford Ray that time. The foul went to number 10, Charlie Johnson.
Haywood. Mullins with the rebound. 3-on-3 situation. Johnson back to Mullins. Wilkes. Nice move to the basket by Keith Wilkes.
Now Golden State, maybe because Seattle's defense is letting up a little, is starting to score more. But to get back into the game, they're going to have to stop Seattle.
Clark. Ray, good position on Burleson that time to grab the rebound down to Barry. That's Rick's second basket of the game.
Second layup.
65-59, and now Russell on his feet calling timeout. And it looked like Seattle was going to blow them out for a minute, but the Warriors have fought back and have narrowed the margin to 6 points with 6:41 left in the third period.
Here's your car battery. Add water. Keep it clean. It lasts an average of 38 months. Now, JCPenney introduces the revolutionary new battery that will make yours obsolete. You never have to add water. And it's so powerful that JCPenney will guarantee it for as long as you own your car. If it fails, return it. We'll replace it free. Only at JCPenney Auto Centers or catalog desks. It's the last battery your car will ever need.
Buick has taken the concept of a V8 and created something pretty special. The Buick V6. It shares design efficiencies with our V8s, but with greater fuel economy. And it's so good we've made it standard on 3 entirely different sized Buicks. The small rakish Skyhawk, the compact Skylark, and the mid-size Century. It means you can drive your idea of an economy car and enjoy a Buick at the same time. Buick, dedicated to the free spirit in just about everyone.
Once again, a look at what you'll be seeing tomorrow in the NBA on CBS. Buffalo and Washington upcoming at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and then the 5th game of the series between Chicago and Kansas City, Omaha, from the Chicago Stadium at 3:30 Eastern Time. And then Tuesday night, another special prime time NBA on CBS telecast, the 5th game of the series between Boston and Houston.
We heard during that last time out some of the Warrior players saying, let's go, let's run them. They're starting to get tired. Well, obviously, that's what Golden State would like to do, is start running the Sonics.
Archie Clark with the basketball. Tab Skinner. Back to Clark, a crafty veteran. Only real playoff veteran that the Sonics have, this young ball club. Brett Brown driving the lane. Trying to get his own rebound. Burleson has it.
In order to start the fast break, Golden State needs to get some rebounds. As just shown there, they're not. Tom Burleson got it and put it in.
A little tough to fast break without the ball.
It sure does. Burleson now has 19.
67-59, Sonics. 6 minutes to go, third quarter. Wilkes. Off the Ray. 7 seconds on the shot clock as Mullins guns it. Won't fall.
Let it go, let it go.
Now let's see who hit it. They say. Burleson can't believe the call by Paul Mahalik, the official. Mullins going to set up the out-of-bounds play. Looks like Watts is getting ready to come in. Berry still hasn't hit one of those patented long jumpers. Wilkes with a rebound try.
They're going to call a foul. It's either going to be on Ray or Wilkes. We'll go the other way. Berry, once again on that long jump shot, was short, Frank. That's the way he's missed most of them. It's the 4th personal foul on Keith Wilkes. That's the 2nd time today Keith has missed a shot that he probably felt he should have made. And players get upset with themselves and they go too aggressively after the ball, and he did there.
Penalty in effect now. It's the 5th team foul of the Warriors. Sonics have had only 1 team foul against them here in the 3rd period. Haywood.
Spencer Haywood. He was on the 1968 United States Olympic team at only the age of 19. He'll be 26 years old on Tuesday.
Gets the margin back to 10 points. He has 12 in the game. Haywood injured earlier this season, but he has certainly come back strong. 9th in the league in scoring. Average of 22 points per game. Mullins. Off to Berry. Wilkes from 12 feet. The back rim, no good. I think we're going to have shoving called on Ray.
That was an easy play to call by Mindy Rudolph. Clifford Ray definitely did push off. Rick Berry acted that time like he didn't want the shot. Looked like he wanted Keith Wilkes to take it. Keith's putting it up an awful lot for the Warriors today.
Wilkes took over a great deal of the offensive slack when Berry was injured for a brief period of time, scoring better than 30 points on a couple of occasions. And his play normally, though, is to complement Berry. 1+1 here for Spencer Haywood. Eleven-point advantage for the Sonics.
Oh!
Johnny Johnson breaking across the lane to grab it. Berry from the corner. Brown gets the rebound.
Berry was short once again.
Tab Skinner driving on Berry. Dickey getting ready to come into the game for Golden State. Watts to Haywood. To Brown. Mullins on him. Skinner with the rebound. Boy, there were 3 blue shirts underneath the basket. And somehow Skinner got in there and put it through. And Golden State calls timeout. Sonics get a standing ovation from their fans as they have built their lead to 13 points with 4 minutes and 46 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter.
You know, you have a nice head of protein there. You notice how I call hair protein? Hair is practically all protein. The beating hair takes, it can lose protein. That can make it look dull and lifeless. This is a greaseless hair groom. It's called Menin Protein 29 because it's got protein in it. Protein that actually gets absorbed into the hair. Yeah, right into the hair. Menin Protein 29 helps your hair look thicker, fuller, really healthy.
Protein 29. It's available in spray, gel, and liquid.
Chevrolet has something new to show you, America.
Nice! Looks like a Monza 2+2. The 75 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Right, America. Only this is a new Monza.
Oh, yeah?
It's $305 different, $305 less. This is a new lower price model called the Monza S Hatchback Coupe.
S, as in smart?
Smart, sensible, sporty, all of that. And that's not all, America. There's a new Nova S Coupe, too.
Hot dog!
$106 less than any other Nova, and $349 less than the newest compact from Chevrolet's nearest sales competitor.
S, as in smart and sensible.
Right, America. New low prices on Monza S and Nova S. So see your Chevy dealer before you make any deal.
Now that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Chevrolet, now that makes sense.
So come on in, America.
Chevrolet, you've done it again. That makes sense.
Golden State to throw it in. Seattle trying to apply a little pressure here in the backcourt. Charlie Johnson gets it across without any problem. Fred Brown guarding him. Mullins from outside. Two.
Basket by Mullins.
That's 8.
The former Duke Blue Devil is certainly capable of hitting the outside shot. Again, though, I'm surprised to see Dudley, who was going to come into the game a minute ago. He was getting his warm-ups off. He didn't come in, but I'm surprised we haven't seen Phil Smith, the second-round pick from USF, in the game today.
Watts. Nice fake. Oh, a little bit off balance, but it'll count.
Normally not a shooter. When things like that go in, you know things are going well for you.
74-61. Keith Wilkes arching his shot. Brown climbing high to bring it down. Driving on Mullins. Mullins drawing the foul, or rather fouling Brown.
Mullins has a lot of trouble guarding Fred Brown. As we said, he's a good one-on-one player. He likes to leap and jump going to the basket. He's very accurate with his shot that way, although we didn't get to find out because of Clifford Ray, but he was fouled by Mullins.
3 to make 2 here for the veteran Fred Brown.
With 3:44 left in the quarter, the Warriors are out of fouls. They're in the penalty situation. Seattle shooting the penalty free throws. Seattle has only 1 team foul, so they do not, or they are in control of the game. They're not having to foul the Warriors very much.
Brown is the first man to go over 20 points in the game. And a 15-point bulge now for the Seattle Sonics, their biggest lead of the contest. Keith Wilkes, Haywood all over him. Mullins driving on Brown. Foul called on the Sonics.
And of course, like any other situation in the NBA, a good offensive player is always going to beat a good defensive player. So Mullins turns it around down at the other end, and he drives to his left on Fred Brown and draws the foul. Brown's second personal.
Mullins has 8 points in the game. (76-62) as Russell sneaks a look at the scoreboard. Watts puts on the brakes. 3-second lane violation called against the Sonics.
Seattle had only 9 turnovers in the first half, but the Warriors had only 7 turnovers in the first half, so that's the least of their problems.
Charlie Johnson. Here's Ray. Back to Johnson. From 20 feet. Haywood has gotten himself a lot of rebounds in this third quarter. Fred Brown. Mullins trying to stay with him. Haywood driving. That one just about tore the backboard down.
You always think someone's going to get hurt in a situation like that, a broken wrist or something like that. Haywood, Spencer, tried to dunk the ball on a great baseline drive. You would have thought maybe he was fouled by Clifford Ray, but the official said no. However, Burleson was fouled by Wilkes, and for Keith, that is his 5th personal foul. So Rick Berry's going to have to be rushed back into the game, and they're going to have to get Wilkes out on the bench.
You mentioned Haywood's rebounding work a moment ago. He has 7 rebounds in the 3rd period.
Well, I guess Bill Russell has decided that is good enough to earn him a rest, because he takes him out and puts in rookie Leonard Gray.
That is 21 points for Big Tom Burleson. So he and Brown both over the 20-point mark, and the Sonics have a 16-point lead. Dudley to Mullins, gunning it from outside. Nothing will go down for Golden State.
They're starting to perform like a team that is behind now. They're starting to force a few shots.
18-point advantage. 23 points for Burleson. Barry. Dudley. Basket, I believe, will count, and a foul called underneath the bucket on Gray. Dickey will go to the free throw line.
He'll only get 1 free throw because the basket was good. You can only have a total of 3 points in any one play in the NBA. So whether he makes or misses, he only got the 1 throw.
Sonics battling for those rebounds, and they come up with yet another. Watts off to Brown. Change of pace. Burleson has it knocked out of his hands underneath the basket. Tim's getting a little physical right now. Dudley, number 15, gets up off the pile-up, and on the bottom is Tab Skinner.
That's 3rd and 5, and Skinner's the ball carrier. He's got the ball. They have a jump ball.
Skinner and Ray almost went at it in the Thursday night game. They squared off once or twice.
They have been 2 very friendly teams, and neither team has complained too much about the officiating. That is generally the rule, though, when Mindy Rudolph is present.
Ball still loose. Uh-oh. There's Dudley throwing the ball at Burleson.
What did I say about the teams being very friendly out there?
Perfect timing.
Al Addles, as always, is out there to break it up.
Addles' assistant is Joe Roberts.
Leonard Gray picks up the foul. Dickey is just trying to, Dudley is trying to cool off. He's a very likable young man.
Oh, here we go. Well, we got a wild scramble here in the corner. Look out, there's some people in wheelchairs over there. Things are really getting rough.
It was Derek Dickey and Leonard Gray. They had pushed each other a couple minutes ago down at the other end of the floor, I had noticed. And then they were exchanging words while they were trying to cool off Charles Dudley.
Here's Gray being let out of it by Skinner. Gray, number 11, being held over to the bench. We're going to have a technical foul now.
Yeah, we'll see who they assess it to. Yeah, you can have a fighting foul, which would not be a technical foul, or you can make it a technical foul, and that's what Mindy is going to do.
Now Russell is over there to check to see exactly what Mindy is going to do.
And they rejected it.
Gray has been thrown out of the game.
It is up to the official. He does not have to assign 2 technical fouls. He doesn't have to assign any. He can, at any time he wants, eject a player, and that's what he's decided to do. He decided that Leonard Gray was the aggressor.
There's Russell joined with Mindy Rudolph as Rick Berry made the free throw.
Right. Bill Russell pleading his case. Russell, I guess, is...
There's a loose ball foul.
Now let's see if we can pick up what they're saying.
decide where will play resume and with what.
I heard Bendy say to somebody there'll be 2 more. Somebody.
Al Allen wants the free throws or the ball. Trying to think what the play was prior to the fight. Let's see. Oh, it was Dudley and Burleson. Dudley threw the ball.
Dudley threw the ball at Burleson, right?
But what happened before that? At any rate, Golden State will get the ball at midcourt.
Well, the free throw by Barry on the technical made it 80-65.
The hand is for Leonard Gray as he leaves the floor. He's one of the many outstanding rookies on this Seattle team, was an outstanding player at Cal State Long Beach. Now the 2 captains are being talked to by Mindy Rudolph, Haywood and Barry. He's explaining apparently why he assessed only 1 technical and only ejected 1 player.
Rebound to Skinner. Shot was missed by Phil Smith, who has just come into the game for the first time. He's a rookie from San Francisco who can shoot well. Skinner from deep in the corner. George Johnson has also come in. This is Dudley. Pass batted away by Watts. Out of bounds. It'll be Golden State's ball.
Got gets on Derek Dickey a little bit, who completely by accident tripped Slick Watts.
Derek Dickey's a very unusual young man. As a hobby, he has a 7-foot boa constrictor.
That's unusual.
Tells you a little something about his personality, I guess. Here's Barry. He has yet to hit one of those in the entire game.
Now, once again, Barry was short.
Foul is called.
Every time there's a whistle now, these very pro-Seattle fans and Rabbit fans, and good fans they are, up off their feet. The foul is on Charles Dudley, his second. It'll send Slick Watts to the free throw line.
You know, Watts said he read Bill Sharman's book on shooting. He used to wear that headband kind of off the crazy angles, and Sharman says that you got to be square to the basket in order to shoot, so now he keeps it on straight.
Whoop. Now this play, the game is starting to get out of hand a little bit, and I think you'll see the officials here for the next few moments call them very closely to try to regain control.
Well, the other night we had the officials call both coaches to the center of the floor and say the next guy that raised their fist was going to be thrown out of the game, which is a little bit unusual. This is after about 4 confrontations, near fights.
But Seattle looks very good right now with a 16-point lead and just a minute left in the 3rd quarter.
Both teams in the penalty now. 81-66. Burleson into Archie Clark. Dudley picks him up at the center line. 1 minute left to play in the 3rd quarter. Brown guns it. 2.
Although he's a guard, he likes to shoot from the corner.
Garrett Dickey. Rebound by Johnson. Tipped in on the second try. Big George Johnson, number 52, can play into the backboard with the best of them. He's the Warriors' leading rebounder. Brown missing. Burleson puts it in.
He is so tall that even though you do sometimes screen Burleson off, he's got those long arms and he just reaches over and taps it into the basket.
25 seconds left in the quarter. Barry underneath to Dudley. Good job. Great assist.
There's a fine example of Barry's passing ability. When he goes up into the air, he is always a threat with those 2 hands to rifle a pass to an open teammate.
10 seconds. Shot clock and game clock the same. 5 seconds. Brown barrels in and out on him. Dudley going up. 1 second left to play in the quarter.
Go! 1 second.
Calling the foul on Skinner.
Dudley will get 1+1. It was a loose ball foul. And if he could put these in, it would bring the Warriors to within 13 to start the fourth quarter. Certainly not out of the game by any means. How's that for unusual substituting? With 1 second, Slick Watts comes in for Fred Brown.
$11 points for Dudley. Almost a hometown product here, played at the University of Washington. That's into the third period here at the Seattle Center. Capacity crowd of 14,000. The Sonics 19 straight sellout. Ecstatic with the Sonics 13-point lead.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Hey, Mom, where's Dad?
I don't know. He's half an hour late already.
All units, I have a 1053 in Sector 5.
Charlie 3 responding.
Charlie 3, proceed to Route 6, overpass, probable injuries.
Nancy, you come set the table before your daddy gets home.
What would your family do if one night you didn't come home?
I have an injured and a possible fatal. Request 2 ambulances and a couple of wreckers.
They're on their way.
What would they do if you became the other guy in a car accident?
1098 here.
Make notifications to the families involved.
We at Money, Mutual of New York, know how reluctant some people are to discuss life insurance. But if you'll call a Money representative, we'll help plan your family's future, just in case one night you're the one who doesn't come home.
Mrs. Hayden, your husband's been in an accident. He'll be all right. He was the lucky one.
Mutual of New York, Money for the future.
Now for the grand prize! A 4-part question. Think carefully. What car gets 30 miles per gallon on the highway?
Gremlin!
Who's the furthest on a tank of gas?
Gremlin!
Has the best resale value of any small car built in America?
Gremlin!
And is backed by the exclusive buyer protection plan!
Where is it?
The economical AMC Gremlin.
It matches my dress!
All right, final 12 minutes of action here at the Seattle Coliseum, with the Sonics very much in charge right now. Shot missed by Smith. Rebound grounded in by Tab Skinner. Now, between periods, Mendy Rudolph came over and tried to explain that situation to us. I think it would take us the entire last quarter to figure it out on the fight and the foul and everything else. Watts driving on Dudley.
Quite briefly, what Mendy just told us, Frank, he assessed to Leonard Gray a personal foul, which is a fighting foul, which is also a team foul, and a technical foul, decided to eject him, and the offending team gets the ball at midcourt after that sort of incident. That's why Golden State got the ball after the technical free throw.
Foul called in that instance on Slick Watts.
And that's his, yeah, that's his 5th personal foul, so they'll have to get him out of there, too.
Barry.
It may be repetitious, but once again, Rick Barry was short.
Watts trying to beat it off to Haywood. Burleson over Johnson, air ball. Barry comes down with it. Dudley. Pass is tipped off the backside. Back to Dickey, and he connects for 2.
Derek is not known for his outside shooting ability, but you get an open shot, anybody in the NBA can put it in. He's a great rebounder, too.
Burleson waiting for someone to break. Haywood. Burleson trying to set the pick for Haywood.
It'll be on Tom Burleson setting the screen, a blocking foul. Too bad. It was a great screen other than that. It's the 3rd personal foul on Burleson.
Dudley driving. Off to Dickey. Bill Smith, the rookie from the University of San Francisco. He's done a good job in the latter stages of the season. They're starting to call it pretty close now.
Yeah, they're trying to get control of the game back. Very unusual reaction to Rick Barry. Usually when things aren't going well for him, his temper flares and he gets very angry at himself, maybe even his teammates and the officials, but he seems very cool and collected out there this afternoon.
Smith with the left-handed shot. Couldn't can it. Haywood gets another rebound. Just over 10 minutes left to play in the game. Seattle trying to tie the best-of-7 series at 2 games apiece. As Barry went for the steal.
That'll be his 5th personal foul. The crowd will love it. I don't think Rick, who led the NBA in steals, has had one this afternoon. He really wanted that one.
He was staring daggers through Bendy Rudolph after he called that foul.
If he gets mad, he might start playing better. Haywood.
Long pass, tipped away, and Haywood couldn't keep it in bounds. 87-74, Sonics, as Keith Wilkes comes back into the game. 15 points for Haywood after a slow start.
There's a violation call on the inbounds pass by George Johnson, so Seattle gets it underneath their own basket.
Brett Brown will throw it in. Yeah, these Sonic fans really raising the roof now. Brown. Oh! He's warming up again like he was in that second period when he had 17 points. 89-74. Brown is 25 in the game. Leading scorer on either side.
Calvin Skinner picks up the foul. And that's going to bring John Hummer off the bench into the game. At the next dead ball.
Smith. Dickey. Burleson with the rebound. Fred Brown. Got it. Walking flat on his back.
He loves to penetrate, and especially from the corner. Not the easiest place on the floor to shoot from, but he does it well.
And Golden State will call timeout with 9 minutes and 16 seconds left to play in the game. Trying to regroup for a last discharge at the Sonics, who lead it 91-74.
Now comes Miller time. You blew out that 100-foot candle and saved thousands of barrels of crude. And now it's time for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, if you've got the time, we've got the beer.
We want to show you something. The brilliant use of space inside the 1975 Honda Civic CVCC. Compare it with any other subcompact. How did we do it? We designed the Civic so there was more space devoted to the passengers than to the car. Or to put it another way, from the inside out. Honda Civic, what the world is coming to.
Yeah, they just scored, so it is.
Once again, a reminder, next Saturday afternoon, the one you've been waiting for, the Jimmy Connors John Newcomb Tennis Challenge match. $250,000 at stake in Las Vegas as we find out who is indeed the best tennis player in the world. You'll see it all here on CBS, beginning at 3:30 Eastern Time.
Those are two aggressive tennis players, and we've got some aggressive basketball players this afternoon. 5 different players, each have 5 fouls. Keith Wilkes, Butch Beard, Rick Barry, Calvin Skinner, and Slick Watts.
Gracie has come into the game for Golden State for the first time, number 22. This is Wilkes hitting. 91-76. Spencer Haywood driving on Dickey. Burleson at the free throw line has it knocked out of his hands. Good job by Dudley. Wow. Beating it off to Bracy, and Bracy fouled and turned by Archie Clark as he went for the layup.
Clark didn't take any chances that time, knocking Bracy to the floor. Bracy, of course, is one of the many guards that Al Laddles has tried this afternoon, not only to try to get some offense, but to try to contain Fred Brown.
Good job by Dudley getting that ball knocked out of the hands of Burleson. And he really lowers a boom on him there, does Mr. Clark.
Golden State not only running out of time, but they're running out of timeouts. You're allowed 7 timeouts in a game, and as we come to the end, Golden State has only 2 left, Seattle 3.
That's Rod Derline, number 21, hometown product who played his college basketball right here in Seattle. Good shooter. Into the game for the first time. Bracy on the free throw line for Golden State. Dudley calling the foul.
Now backcourt foul. Very costly. There'll be 2 free throws attempted by Seattle. Dudley reached in and fouled Rod Derline, who last year at Seattle U was the backcourt partner of the outstanding and high-scoring Frank Olenek.
Warriors have 14 fouls here in the final period. The Sonics have 3.
Basically, Frank, everything looks bad for the Warriors right now, including the fact that Rick Barry is on the bench, unable to shoot and score well today.
Batted out of bounds by Fred Brown.
Here comes the last-ditch effort by Rick Barry. He reports and comes into the game, and he is exchanging words now with someone at the scoring table. That's the Rick Barry I'm used to.
Wilkes. To George Johnson. And Dudley loose under the basket for a minute, but they didn't see him. Wilkes up the lane. Somebody got him from behind.
2 forward down here, pushed onto the hole.
You got the whole story right there. For Spencer Haywood guilty.
Right, Spencer Haywood. That's just his 3rd personal foul. Keith Wilkes is the free throw line this afternoon. Keith Wilkes, as he makes the first free throw, now has 18 points. Wilkes with 19 points now, and that is his best playoff game in this series. This is the 4th game, of course. Golden State came into the game leading the series 2-1.
Ironically, Golden State has beaten Seattle 3 out of 4 times they played here in Seattle. Burleson has his shot blocked by George Johnson. Down to Bracy. 2 points. It isn't often you see a guy 7'2" get his shot blocked.
Certainly this game isn't over. 8 minutes, of course, is a great deal of time to play, and the Seattle Sonics have just an 11-point lead.
Haywood, good job of following in.
3 seconds.
Burleson hits.
Haywood could have gone up for the shot himself, but it was a very wise choice to pass off to the open man.
Burleson has 27 points as Keith Wilkes puts it up there and scores. Wilkes over the 20-point mark with 21. Brown driving on Dudley. Nice.
Outstanding offensive basketball player out of Iowa. I think he has probably earned his starting position back after this afternoon.
29 points for Brown, and Brown got the rebound. 7 minutes left to play. Brown again. Oh, he's got a nice soft touch. He puts that thing up there that just floats. 31 points.
That is obviously his best playoff game in this series. 26 he had in the other Seattle win.
He was a key factor in that victory. He also made the winning basket. Here is Rick Barry's, second basket of the second half?
Second in the second half, 3rd in the game. It might be a little bit late, though, but you never know.
He's got 11 points, but 5 of those have been on free throws. Burleson. Barry grabs the rebound.
Now Seattle, they better not cool off, because here comes the Golden State Warriors. They're starting to run a little bit more now.
Wilkes trying to get loose for the shot is bumped by Burleson. 6 minutes, 21 seconds to go.
It'll be free throw.
Warriors have got it down to 7 points now.
Wilkes in the line, 1 and 1.
1+1 for Keith Wilkes. NBA Rookie of the Year candidate out of UCLA.
They call John Drew, although Tom Burleson, of course, in his late season surge would have to be given consideration if they would vote on the playoff performances, certainly. Rushed back in by Bill Russell is Slick Watts. He, of course, can help take control of the game, hopefully.
Charlie Johnson comes back in, and Dudley is out.
The crowd understandably quiet, but hoping for Seattle to score a basket to get this lead a little more comfortable than it is.
Hummer, number 42, into the game for the first time. That's Watts. Over to Brown. Around Johnson. Nope. Gracie. 3-on-2 situation. Golden State. Dumps it off to Wilkes. Turnaround jumper. Blocked out of bounds by Watts.
You would have thought Golden State would have got a pretty good shot off of that fast break opportunity, but they didn't handle it real well, and Watts made a fine block on Wilkes. When a player shoots from behind his ear or head like Wilkes, you can block the shot from the side even though you're not that tall, as Watts showed there.
Wilkes driving around Haywood, trying to get loose, puts it up, no good. Ellison ripping it away from Wilkes. Down to Brown. Fred has it knocked out of his hands by Berry, and a foul is called on Berry.
And every one of the 14,000 fans will wave goodbye to Rick Berry.
Rick Berry will wind up with 3 baskets and 5 free throws for 11 points. And it's been a long time since he has been held to that low a figure. A long afternoon for the man who must hit to make the Golden State Warriors go. Bill Russell calling his Sonics around him as we have 5 minutes and 20 seconds left to play, and the Sonics with a 12-point cushion.
I'm Wally Bruner of Wally's Workshop. Let me show you what professionals use to repair wood. They use genuine plastic wood, next best thing to wood itself. You just fill in with plastic wood, let dry, sand down, paint it. The repair doesn't show. You can drill, saw, plane, whittle, and nail into plastic wood. Use it to rebuild screw and nail holes, cover up your mistakes, even rebuild fancy scroll work. The one and only plastic wood, next best thing to wood itself.
The incredible new Volkswagen Rabbit. Averages 38 miles per gallon down the highway. Goes from 0 to 50 in a snappy 8.2 seconds. It won't cost you a bundle. And it's easy to wash.
Happy days are here again.
Making a beer that's easy isn't easy. It takes time. Blending the ripest hops to make it go down easy takes time. Softening the barley to make it go down easy takes time. Even waiting for the right time takes time. But when we dedicated ourselves to making Schmidt's the easy beer, we said, the heck with time. Schmidt's, the easy beer.
Checking some figures on Berry. The last time he was below 11 points was March 2nd against Portland when he was held to 3.
Including 80 regular season games that he played in and now 4 playoff games. That is the first time this year that Rick Berry has fouled out. It is the 12th time this year that he is, only the 12th, that he has been under 20 points in scoring. He had the high this year in the NBA for points in a game, 55.
Fred Brown, with those 2 free throws, has 33 points. He's the top scorer in the game as the Sonics go over the century mark, 101 to 87. Dickey. Gracie losing the ball.
As he jumped over the bench, he almost put his foot in the little ball basket. Good way to get hurt.
Well, it looks very much like these 2 clubs will be coming back to Seattle once again after playing at Golden State next Tuesday night in the 5th game of their series. Hummer off to Burleson. Drives on George Johnson, puts it up. Nice touch, gets his own rebound, and slam dunks it.
Outstanding game for Tom Burleson. He's got 29 points. That's his high in this playoff series. fine performance. I don't know, John Drew and Keith Wilkes, maybe Burleson should be Rookie of the Year.
Well, as you mentioned, if you take it on the way they're going in the playoffs, you may be right, but going back over the entire season, perhaps Wilkes has shown the greater deal of consistency.
Oh, he's been a tremendous, consistent player all year for Golden State, no question.
Hummer. Burleson. 4.5 minutes to go.
Seattle, of course, running down the 24-second clock now as much as they can. Having no problem, it seems, getting an open shot when they do decide to shoot.
Charlie Johnson. Gracie. Burleson and Haywood arguing over that one. Fred Brown slows it down as he brings it across the center line.
This was a must game for Seattle, of course. If they had lost this afternoon, they'd be down 3 games to 1. Only twice in the 29-year history of NBA playoffs have teams come from behind after being down 3 games to 1.
Burleson has it blocked on him by George Johnson. Some of the fans feel that goaltending should have been called as Haywood drops it.
24-second clock expires. I can't believe that they didn't reset it after that last shot attempt. Some of the fans now, instead of yelling at the officials, they're getting on their own scorekeepers and clock keepers down here.
103-87. Dickey driving on Hummer.
4-2 on the floor, wards them off.
John Hummer picks up the foul before the shot, but it'll still be 1+1 for Derek Dickey. Steve Gracie getting a rest. He looks a little winded, and while he should be, he hasn't played that much this year. In the playoffs so far, Gracie has played only a total of 3 minutes before this afternoon's game, so he might be a little bit out of shape.
Dickey hitting on both free throws. He's got 6 points. 103-89. A little more than 3.5 minutes left to go. Watt slowing it down. Charlie Johnson ready to take a swipe at it. Jump ball.
Seattle, of course, was outstanding when they beat the Detroit Pistons 2 out of 3 in a playoff series just before this one. They won both the games played here in Seattle, losing in Detroit. Now each team will have won and lost each one game on the respective home floors.
Seattle is capable of beating Golden State at home. They've done it twice this year, which is more than any other NBA team can say.
Yeah, Golden State during the regular season lost only 10 games at home out of 41 plays.
Offensive foul called against Golden State. 6 fouls on Keith Wilkes.
Second Golden State Warrior player to foul out of a game, Bill Russell, and his assistant Bob Hopkins, obviously very pleased and confident at this stage.
Wilkes fouls out with 22 points. Perhaps his best playoff performance from a scoring standpoint, but he's had to shoot a lot more today because of Barry's inability to hit the basket. Also had 9 rebounds.
Yeah, I think he probably had to take more of the offensive load that he would like to have.
3 minutes left to play in the game. Haywood. Knocked out by Burleson.
Seattle that time didn't run down the 24-second clock. Russell, with his arms up in the air, says, Spencer, why were you shooting? Let's run down the clock a little bit more. So you'll see him do that next time they get it.
Charlie Johnson over Haywood. Hitting from 23 feet.
The lead is cut to 12.
Well, stranger things have happened. The team cut a lead like this down in the last couple of minutes. Brown. Shot clock is down to 5 seconds as Watts tries for the hoop. Great cut. Oh, you talk about putting a soft shot up there.
Seattle seems to run down the clock and then get any kind of shot they want to.
And they're all dropping today. Phil Smith double-teamed off to Bridges, who has come into the game for Golden State. Fred Brown with the steal. Into Hummer. Haywood saves it. Now slows it down. 15 seconds to go, and Watts just staring at that shot clock. 2 minutes left to go on the game. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Brown. Smith grabs the rebound. Long lead pass. Stolen again by Brown. George Johnson gets it back and put it away. 105-91. And now the chorus of appreciation rises from the Seattle Supersonic fans as the clock winds down the last minute and a half. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Brown from the corner out to Watts with 4 seconds to go. He drills it. 107-91. That's the time left in the game. 1:20 and counting.
For Slick Watts, that's 11 points in the game and his best playoff game point-wise to date.
Air ball put up by George Johnson. Haywood grabs the rebound. He's had a ton of them today. Smith contesting him at the center line. Off to Brown. 1 minute left to go in the contest. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Charlie Johnson hanging on to Watts. 18-footer. Foul will be on Burleson.
For Burleson, that's 5 personal fouls. Of course, it doesn't mean much at this stage, but that's probably the most fouls he has picked up in the 4 playoff games in this series and the 3 against Detroit. And that is further indication of why he is such an improved player. Earlier in the year, he was playing much less, yet getting in foul trouble more often. He has really cut down on his fouls.
George Johnson.
Frank, as you can see, he, like Rick Barry, and they are the only 2, shoots his free throws underhand. Only 2 in the NBA, I should add.
Slick Watts putting a couple of moves on Charlie Johnson. 40 seconds left to play in the game. All over but the shouting now, as this series will be tied. Good move.
Of course, that happened by Brown. When you're on defense like Golden State, you're overplaying, you're gambling. Sooner or later, someone's going to break open underneath.
Charlie Johnson hits. That is 35 points for Brown. Top scorer in the game. His high on the year is 40, which he got a couple of times.
They'll just run it down, and Golden State will run it down as everyone in the Seattle Center Coliseum comes to their feet. They love their Sonics this afternoon.
Shot clock in tune with the game clock here. 5 seconds. Last shot of the game, and Brown winds up a perfect afternoon for the Seattle Supersonics as he rings the bell at the buzzer, connecting for his 37th point of the game as the Supersonics rout the Golden State Warriors 111-94 and will send the series back to Oakland on Tuesday for Game 5.
It's tough to put a mural down.
Hey, you up there, would you stop the picture? No, hold it. Everybody knows it's tough to put a Muriel down, but do you know how easy it is to pick a Muriel up? These smooth air tips are still only 5 for 30 cents, and mild Muriel Coronellas only 5 for 35 cents. Good taste at a good price. Boy, we sure can use it now. Roll it.
How you feeling? Any pain?
No.
Ed Clark is going back to surgery. Fragile body tissue has failed to heal properly and ruptured. Can anything be done to help tissue heal? To help avoid still another operation? A mesh made of Marlex plastic interlaces with body tissue and gives it strength. Who developed the plastic that's helping patients avoid a return to surgery? The same company that makes fine products for your car. The Phillips Petroleum Company. Surprised?
Frank Lieber along with Lynn Shackelford back at the Seattle Coliseum. 14,000 fans, the Sonics' 19th straight capacity crowd, filing out very happy on a rainy afternoon in Seattle as their Sonics are very much back in the picture in the NBA Western Conference semifinal playoff series with a resounding 111-94 victory over the Golden State Warriors. This, as we mentioned, sends the series back to Golden State for Game 5 of the series. That'll be scheduled on Tuesday night. The teams will come back here to Seattle on Thursday night for Game 6. And the 7th game, if necessary, will be played next Saturday afternoon. That'll be played in Oakland. Fred Brown, the leading scorer in the game, with a tremendous offensive performance. He did not start the game, but he wound up pitching in 37 points, most of them on those patented long jump shots. Let's talk to Fred now and Lynn Shackelford. Lynn?
With me here is obviously the game star, Freddie Brown, 37 points. Congratulations. That has to be one of the highlights of your NBA career so far.
Well, I'm just glad we came out of the ball game with a win. You know, we really needed it. We blew the first one here, and we needed the second one going down to Golden State, you know.
You came off the bench and got real hot in the second quarter, but I think after today you may have earned your starting position back.
Well, I don't know about that. I've been coming off the bench lately because of I've had a sore shoulder, you know, but I've been coming off and trying to get into the floor of the game and do the best I can for the team.
And I think your defense was outstanding today. Not only you, but the rest of the team. You obviously, with your 37 points, were great on offense, but you seem to control the tempo, and you obviously put Rick Barry, the clamps on him.
Well, that's true. We felt that if we can put as much pressure on Rick Barry if we could, that it would take him completely out of the ball game, and everybody else would contribute on the scoring part of the game, and we'd come out as a winner.
You got hot, and you got the hot hand going in the second quarter. You felt you could make anything you put up?
Yeah, that's true. I feel I can make anything I put up because I was getting shots that were pretty much in my range, and my teammates were looking for me, and just hopefully, you know, I was glad that I was just hitting them.
Brilliant performance today, Fred. Congratulations and good luck to you. Let's go now back to Frank Gleber.
Thank you very much, Lynn. The final score once again here at Seattle, 111-94, the Sonics over the Golden State Warriors. Frank Gleber, along with Lynn Shackelford, saying so long from Seattle.
And there's mini wheats a-coming.
Oh, they're all American cereals made from natural wheat. Oh, they're crisp and toasted, sugar or cinnamon frosted mini wheats.
They're neat little mini biscuits.
Topped with plain frosting or brown sugar cinnamon.
Plum tasty cereal.
Part of a good, nutritious breakfast.
Sure is.
Oh, they're all American, sugar or cinnamon frosted mini wheats.
From Kellogg's.
Here's how it starts. You see someone with Kentucky Fried Chicken enjoy that first mouth-watering bite. Then you catch that irresistible aroma, and you just gotta get a taste for yourself.
In this world, there's only one fried chicken that always tastes so finger-licking good. And you gotta say, hey, it's a Kentucky Fried Chicken Day, a Kentucky Fried Chicken Day.
NBA playoffs, sponsored by the new Volkswagen Rabbit. Happy days are here again. And by Mutual of New York, money for the future.